Freelance is the new movie by Pierre Morel, who's probably best known for directing one of the most famous scenes in movie history. Yeah, fuck off Rosebud and Citizen Kane. Liam Neeson telling kidnappers over the phone that he'll fucking destroy them if they don't return his daughter is peak cinema. And we can thank Pierre Morel for that. So yeah, the director of Taken has made more cheesy revenge films since then, like Peppermint in 2018, which was kind of like Death Wish, but with Jennifer Garner instead of Charles Bronson. And he also made a movie called From Paris with Love, which sounds like a romance, but judging from the poster, it's a low-budget action movie starring John Travolta. So Morel has experience with the low-budget action genre, and that's precisely what Freelance is. Now, I went into this movie with really low expectations because, as some of you may know, the movie was blessed or cursed with the very rare 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, meaning no one really liked it. And in the week since its October release, the reviews have trickled up. Some positive ones have come out, and now it sits at around a 7%, but the damage is done, and I'm just here to explain what's so bad about Freelance, or why this seemingly empty direct-to-DVD film, oh wait, this did go to theaters for a week or maybe two, and then disappeared. Let's break down this action comedy starring John Cena, Alison Brie, and try to see what went wrong. So in this movie, John Cena stars as Mason Petit, a lawyer who explains in the opening 5 minutes over voiceover how he's tired of doing the normal life. He doesn't want to drive his kids to school in a minivan. He doesn't want to live in suburbia. He doesn't want to settle down and start a family. He just wants a wild life. And as the voiceover is playing, we get a POV montage of a soldier who's supposed to be, but almost certainly not, John Cena, as he goes through training, completes some missions, and eventually gets shot out of a helicopter, and he gets a broken back. His fellow soldiers are killed, and just like that, Cena's character gives up on life he's dreamed of and ends up working as a lawyer. He's unhappy, and he wants to change, and that's why it's so bizarre that Christian Slater's character just appears in his office about 5 minutes into the movie. Yeah, Christian Slater just appears as a military contractor who suddenly wants to recruit John Cena's Mason Petit to join him on a mission where he'll be escorting a journalist, played by Alison Brie, into a war-torn country for an interview with a dictator. It is a bit kind of random and just falls into place without there being many funny lines to really sell you on this. And I think this started to prove to me why people didn't like this film. The movie has that old "we need you back in the forces" trope. You were the very best. Christian Slater really wants John Cena to join him, and John Cena doesn't want to live in this mundane life, and he wants to do what he has to do. But the issue with this is we never really get to live in these moments where he's bored with his life or where we see his old life. Like I said, they just have this POV flashback, which plays as the opening credits is playing over it. It's not like you really get to feel that pain that John Cena went through when he lost his friends, or you get to see how much fun he was having. You really just go, oh, so now they need him back. Okay. So when Christian Slater comes up, you just go like, okay, why should we give a shit? Who is this guy? Why should we care? You're really just seeing this all for the first time. I mean, it sounds like nitpicking, but I think this is where the movie loses its tone. It is always trying to be funny and trying to move the story along, and it struggles in between the jokes and explaining the plot. And once Cena and Brie actually get to the jungle, I think the movie does get a bit better. Mostly that's because they introduced this dictator character who is very funny, and the actor who plays him, Juan Pablo Raba, does a great job. The story is just a mess. To be honest, I think Alison Brie and John Cena are really giving their all. John Cena's really been trying to be a better actor. He actually has been pretty good in these roles. He just doesn't have that much to work with. I think the dictator character gets a lot to work with. And then you find out there's a coup in the middle of this country, and John Cena has to protect Alison Brie's character and get her to safety, but the film doesn't really know what it wants to be. And I saw this. People were talking about this. I do think it's abundantly clear. If you want to make a comedy film, you need to do some more bizarre things, some random funny things that'll get people to laugh. But the movie just doesn't do that. Most of the time, John Cena is grunting or rolling his eyes. There's even a scene where he's in a car with Alison Brie and this dictator, and he's the dictator showing Alison Brie around the country. And for comedic effect, the movie just cuts to John Cena's reaction shot where he just looks bored and annoyed, but he isn't really doing anything. You need to do more with the story if you want to make it funny. The best parts are, of course, when the dictator does some bizarre things. And it made me think of Sacha Baron Cohen's film, The Dictator, which was much, much better. I mean, comparing them here is really an insult to The Dictator, which is hilarious. That movie embraced its true bizarre quality, and it even had a bit of a grounded nature to it. This film, though, doesn't do that. It's a bit scattershot. It is focusing on too much. There's an action element that's always taking away from the comedy and vice versa. See, in The Dictator, it was mostly just comedy. They didn't really focus on much action, and I think it was stronger there because it had a lot more time to bounce off the jokes. I really didn't think this movie was so terrible. I mean, I did chuckle or laugh. I guess I smiled a bit. I didn't really laugh about it, but it was really stale. The characters did feel very empty and bland. But like I said, it was fun to watch at parts, especially with the dictator character. He's a good actor, and he made me like it a little more. There's a part in this movie where they say the country they're visiting is like a Tim Burton movie. It's colorful, but creepy as fuck. They could be referring to the movie, only creepy being rote and disappointing. The movie has some appeal, but at the end of the day, it's just a light version of so many better films. It kind of reminded me of The Suicide Squad, because they go to a country and there's a coup and a dictator being overthrown. Only that movie also was so much better and even had some bizarre sci-fi stuff. Overall, I just think Freelance is not too memorable. It isn't a great comedy, and it's going to be compared to some much, much better movies. So, honestly, let me know what you guys think of this movie. Also, even the interview with James Franco and Seth Rogen was a little funnier. I mean, that movie had more politics and it also leaned into the bizarre aspects of the dictatorship, but it just was better and it had more funny moments with the dictator and with the two main characters. This is just not it, guys. So, yeah, let me know what you think. If you think it's a bad movie, maybe you liked it, but let me know what you guys think. Thanks so much for watching.